When it comes to manifestation, the topic of emotions and feelings is probably one of the most misunderstood concepts. There's just all kinds of things on the internet with people saying different things, whether that's misconstruing what feeling it real means, or saying that you need to feel perfectly confident all the time, or saying that it doesn't matter if you feel really bad or you're spiraling in the old story because it'll still manifest. There's a lot of different things said that can easily be misconstrued if you're hearing it in a way that's not the right way to be hearing it. So today it is time for me to set the record straight with this whole your emotions don't matter when manifesting. I'm going to tell you why that is true, but I'm also going to explain specifically why it's true, because it's easy to misconstrue your emotions don't matter when manifesting and then mess it up because no one's explaining to you what to do with your emotions instead. Like if you're manifesting and you're having all these negative emotions still, okay, great if they don't matter, but what are you supposed to be doing with those negative emotions instead? Today we're going to get into that because that part of it does matter. It's not having emotions themselves that matter. It's what do you do with every single emotion that you have? Where do you channel that emotion? And we're going to talk about that next and how it applies to manifesting so you get a healthy relationship to manifestation and emotions, and you stop bypassing and repressing and trying to force yourself to feel certain ways because you think you got to feel it real. Like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Manifestation is such a powerful tool that every human, I believe, needs to consciously learn. But ironically, a lot of humans that have learned it have accidentally damaged themselves even more through the process of trying to apply this. Just that a lot of the knowledge has become misconstrued. So we're going to get into all this today. But before we get into it, I will introduce myself to any of you who might not know me yet. My name is Genevieve and I'm a manifestation coach. My mission on this earth with all of you here is to really help you embody manifestation practices in a healthy way. Manifestation itself is quite simple, but it's simple when you understand the layers of it that make it simple. Oh man, the topic of manifestation is just so funny. Yes, there's many contradictions and paradoxes, and the more you embrace that, the more simple manifestation becomes. But for many people, when they keep this too surface level for too long, they keep it totally superficial. They're never really grasping those deeper layers of what makes the simplistic truths we say true. It's easy to actually damage yourself when you're oversimplifying without understanding why. Why is it simple that we know that our emotions don't matter? If that's true, that our emotions don't matter when manifesting, we need to understand the deeper layers as to why. Because if you just took that soundbite of emotions don't matter when manifesting, again, you could potentially do some damage to yourself if you're not understanding why that's true. Anyway, if I'm the kind of coach that you like, if you feel like you and me have a vibe together here, there are all kinds of different ways you can work with me. I have courses down below that you can just start right away. You can also do a call with me. I am a little bit booked out though, so you kind of have to just expect that it might be a little bit of time before you can talk to me, unless you're an amazing manifester and you somehow manifest moving up. But a call is great if you really want me to help you with your specific stuff you've got going on. You can also join the membership portion of this channel where I have more exclusive content and tools, or you can just keep enjoying the value of all of this free content that I am giving you, this free coaching that is happening right now, me and you. So with that said, let's get into the juicy stuff we've got to get into today. And you've already heard me say it, your emotions truly don't matter when you're manifesting. But the first things first, we got to talk about why is that true? Well, we need to clarify this statement a little bit better. It's not that your emotions don't matter. Your emotions really do matter because your emotions are fuel. Your emotions are fuel for your manifestation. But what a lot of you have come into this with is thinking that only positive emotions are going to fuel things to you, and therefore you have to escape the negative emotions. You have to repress them. You have to get rid of them. Only the positive emotions are fuel. Well, that is a lie. That is wrong. That has never been my experience. I've been doing this for years now through a lot of trial and error of manifesting everything I've manifested. I have found that actually it wasn't me being in positive emotion that manifested. What I've actually found to be true is that all of your emotions are fuel, and they're all equal fuel. Think of your emotions like going to the gas station and filling up your car with gas. All emotions are the unleaded or whatever your car needs for fuel to keep it going. They're all the right same fuel. That means that you can use your fear to manifest your outcome just as well as you might use your grief or your joy or your sadness even. All of these emotions are potent. They have the same potency, they have the same fuel, they are just a different vibration of the same potent force. Think of it this way. Your emotional body is like a river that's always flowing, but the flow of the river changes when you move from happiness and then it goes into fear. Maybe it starts to rush a little faster, then it goes into grief. Maybe it starts to rush a little bit slower or a little bit more chaotically, but it's the same water, the same river, but it changes its quality and its flow based off of where the vibration is going. Is it going up to happiness? Is it going down here to sadness? It's the same potency, it's just moving its shape. This is extremely important for you to get, because if you keep relating to your emotions as if it's like, oh no, only the good emotions are good, that's all I can have, and oh no, the bad ones are bad, you are negating everything. You're turning off your access to your emotional body. The more that you keep thinking that repressing or turning away from the negative is helpful and turning only towards the good is good. It's like, because even when you're turning towards the good in that moment, it's not really accessing the true potency of the positive emotion in the way that you think it is, because it's all forced. It's all resistant movement. If you're trying to use your emotions in a resistant, suppressing, fear-based way, you're not accessing any of the power in a truly genuine, potent way. Make friends with all of your emotions. All of your emotions are the same river. They're the same fuel. It's just changing shape. It's changing flow based off of where you go on the emotional scale. But it's all the same fuel. Now that you are relating to it in that way, I can just feel through the camera that you are already having a better time manifesting. So now that you understand that fuel is fuel, emotions are fuel, all of it's good. Now that you get that, here is the important piece. It is not the emotion you're having that matters. It is how you are directing it. This is the true, deeper meaning of your emotions don't matter when manifesting. It's not really that the emotions don't matter. They do. They are a fuel for your manifestations. But what doesn't matter is the emotion itself. What does matter is how are you directing that emotion? Are you directing that emotion back into the spiral of the old story that might have kicked that emotion up to begin with? Are you just habitually putting that back into its old conditioning so it never changes, it never takes on a new form, you're just stuck in that same old state of being? Or are you taking your emotion, whether it's fear, grief, despair, whatever it is, are you taking that emotion and saying, I deserve more? This emotion, this negative emotion, if that's what you're experiencing, is coming up to show me where my power is leaking. My power is in my emotions. There is, again, a magnetism in your emotions. Emotions are a part of your state of being. And when a negative emotion comes up, it's just trying to show you, hey, you're still giving all of this potency, all of this power, you're still giving it to the old conditioning, the old story, the old identity, whatever you want to call it. You can take this potent piece of emotion, this sadness, this fear, whatever it is, and you can use the potency of that emotion to start rampaging. Yeah, start using that emotion to be like, I am not accepting this in my life anymore. I'm not accepting this story. I'm not accepting anything that tells me that I'm less than or that I can't have what I want. That emotion that's trying to go back into the old spiral, you have to cut that off and redirect it into like, nope, this is my power. And I'm deciding that right now with the activation of my fear, I'm going to channel it into this and be like, you know what? I'm going to believe even stronger. I'm going to consciously and purposefully channel this into a rampage or telling myself that, yes, I do have this. I am never going to let myself down again. And I want you to notice how I'm speaking as I explain this to you. I'm making this about me. It's a very self-on-self thing. You are using the activation of that negative emotion to have a different relationship with yourself. You're seeing that emotion come up and then you're saying, I will not let myself betray myself. In the past, when I had this particular emotion or when I had this particular trigger, I would betray myself by going into the lie of the old story that tells me, yep, I can't have what I want. Yep, I'll never make money. Yep, I'll never be healthy. Yep, I'll never have the love of my life. You used to let that old emotion always get siphoned off into that story. Now you're changing your relationship to that emotion. And I'm saying it in this way right now because I don't want you to, especially if you're in a moment of being triggered, I don't want you to make it so much about the 3D in that moment. Of course, you can claim in your rampage that, yes, I do have all the money that I think I have. Yes, I do have perfect health. Yes, I am so loved. Of course, you can rampage those things, but the reason you're rampaging those things is because you are generating a different relationship with yourself. You are teaching yourself to relate to those things differently. You're teaching yourself that, yeah, even when I'm scared, I still know it's going to work out for me. Or, yep, even when I'm really freaking sad, I know that I'm still who I say I am. Or even when I'm scared, I know I'm still going to do amazing and everything's still going to turn out great for me. This is the key here. You changing yourself. As many of you know, this is a self-on-self thing. All of manifestation isn't really about the 3D. I know that most of you got into this because you were obsessed with changing the 3D, but ironically, the 3D only changes as like this really interesting after effect symptom of us changing ourselves. So whenever we're doing anything, especially working with our emotions, we need to keep everything based on self-empowerment, not so much externally focused, like if I just get mad enough at this thing outside of me, it'll change. Sometimes that happens. I've definitely seen some people be able to do that, but for people that are really having a really big paradigm shift in their self-concept, especially where you're moving from a really low self-esteem kind of self-concept to obviously a much higher self-esteem self-concept, you really need to always keep the emphasis on no matter what happens, no matter what I'm feeling, I will never betray myself. I will never talk to myself like, yeah, I can't have what I want because I just got triggered by a circumstance. Or yeah, I'm not who I say I am because I'm really afraid, even though I know I'm supposed to not be afraid. If you let this potent fuel of your emotions continue to go into the old story, that is the only mistake you're making. Because I've had direct experience with this, that you can be scared out of your mind and still manifest exactly what you want to manifest because you're not letting that fear really go into the old story. You're not buying the old story of that fear. Instead, you're just holding that fear and being like, yep, I'm afraid, but I still know everything's working out for me. Yep, I'm afraid, but I'm not going to betray myself to the old story. I really hope you're seeing the big difference between those two things here. Being afraid and instantly allowing that fear to feed into the old conditioning of whatever the old story was versus being afraid and just being like, yep, I'm really afraid right now, but I still know that I'm gonna get exactly what I want. Or I still know my life is amazing and everything is moving on up in the direction that it should be. This is the true meaning of your emotions don't matter when manifesting. The huge mistake that a lot of people make, especially when they first get into manifesting, is they think that this is all about feeling good. So people are constantly chasing feelings. They're chasing, okay, how do I make myself feel good so I can manifest? And you're not realizing that feelings change after you've made a change in your belief system. Feelings are very much a part of the 3D. They are an after effect of you changing your identity, changing your beliefs about yourself. So yeah, that fear or that sadness or whatever the heck it is, it might stick around until you really start to get much more natural in your new story. And that naturalness in the new story only comes with consistent focus. It only comes with not betraying yourself because this old feeling came up and you're just so used to always thinking this feeling means this belief. As conscious manifestors, we're learning to uncouple feelings from instantly becoming beliefs. Because in your young ages and as children, you were conditioned that, oh, whenever I feel this, that means this. As conscious manifestors, we are no longer doing that. Instead, we're saying, okay, I feel this, but I have total choice as to what I do with this next. I could make it mean whatever I want. Even if this is the most uncomfortable feeling ever, it doesn't matter. It's still a potent fuel that I can channel into whatever the heck I want next. A lot of people mistake that when you just feel good enough for long enough, you'll just magically change your identity. That is not how this works. Changing your identity comes first, feelings come later. So your goal is to stay consistent in focusing on your new identity, not trying to manage old emotions or chase emotions or repress emotions because you think if I just feel good enough for long enough, that'll just magically change my identity. It does not work that way. That is a backwards approach. It is not sustainable and it can cause you a lot of emotional harm because it causes you to bypass, it causes you to repress and suppress, and it's not gonna work long term. It's not good for your self-concept and it also doesn't even manifest very well. The last thing I want to say about this is to clarify what Neville Goddard meant when he said feeling is the secret or feel it real. Because hearing those little sound bites is another way that people think, oh, Neville said that it's all about feeling the wish fulfilled. It's about feeling good. It's about feeling amazing. And then you get it. So we need to clarify that Neville Goddard was all about naturalness. And I know that even in this video, you've heard me talk about that when you practice your focus on your new identity enough, it becomes natural. Just over time, with enough practice, enough repetition, natural changes happen. When Neville Goddard says, feel it real, he is talking about simply relating to your manifestation as if it's natural to you, as if you can just be relaxed about it, because it is just obviously done. But again, that naturalness, it comes from focus, from repetition, from practice. And it's okay if you don't feel supernatural and relaxed right away. I'll even kind of disagree a little bit with Neville Goddard and say that I've had really awesome manifestations come through when I didn't even feel it real that much. I just kind of thought about it a few times. I assumed it and it felt kind of natural in the moment that I assumed it, but then I forgot about it and it still happened. It didn't take much feeling at all. It was just really about my focus. And again, some things didn't even take that much focus. And this is what I see in my clients as well. The things you're pretty non-resistant to don't even take that much focus, but even things that were big things that I kind of thought maybe I was resistant to, I still was able to manifest relatively quickly. Of course, this will be different for different people. This is also why I encourage people to get coaching with a good coach, because they can help you to kind of navigate this for you. You will manifest your desires. You will manifest exactly what you intend to manifest, but you have to stop letting your emotions betray the new story. And the only reason your old emotions are betraying the new story is if you're feeling that emotion then being like, oh, well, this means that, yep, things aren't working. This means that I'm still a failure. This means I'm a loser. This means no one loves me. You are responsible for not making that emotion mean anything anymore, because that emotion will fuel your new manifestation just as well, as long as you don't take the bait on making this mean, oh, this is the old story. So therefore this power of my emotion, it's gonna slink back into the old story. Okay, I think this was long enough for today. I am so glad that you were with me today. I can just feel again through the camera that a lot of you had some big epiphanies through this video. So many of you have accidentally caused yourself more suffering over this whole, like, I gotta feel good, I gotta be confident, I gotta whatever. And again, it's caused you damage. It's actually caused you more suffering in the long run by denying your quote unquote negative emotions, as if it's like, oh no, I can't feel that. When really your negative emotions are just as good, just as powerful, just as honorable and reasonable and powerful to have. You just need to direct them in the right way. And this is also another area where coaching can really help you, because a good coach, again, can kind of help you in like how for you in your specific situation, your emotion that you're struggling with, a good coach can help you like how to direct that in the right way. But I also know that so many of you have already figured this out. Just for me saying this in this video, you've got this. And I am so glad that you found me, that we are here together. So please let me know your thoughts and your comments in the comment section below. I always like to hear what this brings up for you guys. Also hear whatever other questions you guys are having, so I can make more videos that are relevant to you, that are what you guys really want to hear about. So let me know your thoughts and comments, and I will see you all in my next video. All right, bye.